Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Leigh Fuge, and in this video today I want to talk about this really cool new guitar that I received a few days ago from the guys at Vola. This is the OZ DSE. The Vola OZ is an incredible Japanese-made guitar. It's a twin cutaway guitar, as you can see, humbucker and two single coils. It is a monster of a player. I fell in love with these the first time I played them, and now I'm so thrilled to have one in my studio. So firstly, a big thank you to Vola for sending me this guitar to use in some videos. It's such a cool guitar. I first discovered Vola guitars at the 42 Gear Street event that I attended back in August. Henning Pauly has a couple of these in his studio, and I played one of them, and honestly I just fell in love with it. They're sort of the ultimate Superstrat. It's like vintage build sort of methods, but coupled with modern playability. And I think for anyone who's looking for a really functional guitar to use both on stage or in the studio, or for gear demos or for anything, the Vola OZ is such a great contender for that. I chose it in this crazy color they call DSE. They do a bunch of other colors which are a little more traditional, but out of the ones they had in stock, this one was the one I thought, that's such a cool color. You know, it's very eye-catching. It'll look great in photos, it'll look great in videos. It's this really cool kind of green to blue to purple burst that we've got going on. And I don't know if you can see that properly in the close-up cam, but it's actually like a metallic finish as well. So rather than it being like a painted on finish, there's actually a slight metallic kind of flake to that. And also if you look very closely, it's got this kind of sandblasted thing where there's actually some dips in the wood, so it's actually textured. It's such a well-made guitar. The body is made from mahogany. It's a 3-piece mahogany body with an ash top. The ash top obviously has this really cool metallic DSE stain on there, which has some really cool glitter effects. Like I said, I think it's been sandblasted to get that sort of textured look. It's got a see-through pickguard, which is very nice. It sort of catches the light in the right way and just looks fantastic. Now we've got a bolt-on roasted maple neck. I've never owned a roasted maple neck guitar before, so this is a first for me. I think it's a one-piece neck. I can't see a join line for the fretboard, so perhaps it's all done from the same bit of wood, and we've got the skunk stripe on the back that would probably signify that. It's got a big fat heel joint there where the neck heel is. That's really fat, which I like because I play a lot of strats, so that kind of feels quite comfortable to me. And also there's this little kind of cutaway here, as you can see, for when you're playing right at the top end. You get your hand in there. It feels really comfortable to play. It's like they've thought about all the ergonomics of the guitar. It's got all the usual comfort cuts, so we've got this sort of the dip away there. We've got the stomach cut on the back, and it's incredibly lightweight. It's not a heavy guitar at all. Considering it's mahogany and, you know, and maple, it's not weighty. I could easily play stood up with this thing for 2 or 3 hours without even worrying about my back hurting. All 3 pickups in this guitar are Vola's own design, so we've got the VHC Vola bridge humbucker and the VHS middle and neck position single coils. Electronics wise, we've got a 5-way switch here, we've got a volume and a tone control, and we've got a coil split for the bridge. So that only works on the bridge pickup, which is pretty cool, so you can take this into the, you know, the 3 single coil realm if you want to get some of those more traditional stratty sounds, and if you want the more sort of fat rock sounds, get that in humbucker mode and have that humbucker in the bridge. Got a Goto vintage style trem. This is really cool because even though it's not a locking trem, it's super stable. Scale length is 25.5 inches, so straight away familiar feel, feels like a Strat, feels like the best Strat you'll ever play. And up on the headstock, we've got these Goto locking tuners. They're vintage styled, which is nice. So from the front, they've got all that kind of vintagey Strat vibe, and then on the back we've got locking mechanisms to keep everything nice and stable. Get a nice close-up of that trem there in the close-up cam too. The finish on this is absolutely incredible. Whichever way you look at it, it sort of catches the light differently from different angles. It's very, very eye-catching. Now, anyone who watches my videos usually will know that I tend to lean more in the sort of direction of more traditional looking guitars, and this is definitely out there for me in terms of what I usually play. This is quite an extreme change from my usual type of guitar. But honestly, when I first played it, there's just something that kind of clicks when you find a guitar that you really connect with. And the first time I played Henning's one of these, there was just something that said, you know what, this is something that you need to look into. So I reached out to the guys at Vola, told them my experience with the guitar, and like I said, they very, very kindly sent me this to use. And I'm so pleased with it. Even though it's a color that you probably would never associate me with playing if you know me, it's definitely going to be a mainstay in my videos from now on. It's such a cool guitar, and it's really inspiring to play. The day it arrived, I literally took it out of the box, and I think I just sat here for about, you know, half hour, 45 minutes, just playing. I didn't even plug it in. I just took it out of the box. It was in tune as well. So when I took it out of the box, it was perfectly in tune. Make of that what you will. They'd shipped it over from Asia, you know, through a freezing cold plane, through a freezing cold courier company, in the freezing cold, you know, Welsh winter weather, and it was still in tune. So I think that says a lot about the build quality of this thing. It can withstand anything you can throw at it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing progresses as part of my collection. Such a fun guitar to play. So I think I've talked enough. I think you guys want to hear this thing now. I'm plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6 that you see behind me there, which is mic'd with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440. The amp is on the clean channel. On the desk in front of me, I've got the Analog Man King of Tone that I'm using as a clean boost. I've also got the Tate Effects Antares drive that I'm using for a light gain overdrive. And I'm also going to use the high gain side of my King of Tone for some heavier tones later on in the video. So start off by going through some cleanish tones. Like I said, I've got the lower gain side of the Analog Man King of Tone just acting as a clean boost here. So this is the bridge pickup. Now the first thing you'll notice there, and this is something that Henning told me, is that Vola guitars are very bright. Now in a studio setting you may think you want to dial in that low end, but realistically when you're actually mixing a track, or especially when you're playing live, you don't want the low end to be too over prominent. You want that high end cut. So the fact these are quite bright off the bat is really useful actually, because if you were gigging this, it would cut through the mix really well. So I'm going to coil split the bridge pickup now by flipping the switch. Now we're on a single coil in the bridge position. So now I'm going to go to position 2. So with the coil split engaged, this is a single coil in the bridge and a single coil in the middle, very typical of a Strat. If I disengage the coil split now, we're going to get that same tone but with a bit more bottom end from the bridge pickup being a humbucker. Also worth mentioning, the trem is super stable because of the lock-in tuners and the fact it's a Goto trem and the guitar is exceptionally well set up. You can really get to work on that trem. It's not going to give you any tuning issues there. So let's go to the middle position now. So this is just the middle single coil. position 4 now, which is the middle single coil and the next single coil together. Finally, the next single coil. So you really do get all your classic Strat tones there, but with Vola's own little twist. I love that because it's obviously all the tones you expect to hear from a Strat style guitar. All those classic tones are there, but Vola's own kind of pickup voicings have kind of removed some of the mud that sometimes occurs with vintage tones. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. They've taken this modern idea and its vintage idea, and they've mixed them together in something that is really can only be described as what Vola do, because I've never played a guitar that does what this does. I've never played a guitar that has such a unique voice that isn't a typical vintage guitar. Like if you play a good old Strat, it sounds like an old Strat. If you play a good old Les Paul, it sounds like a Les Paul. But the Vola doesn't really sound like anything other than a Vola, which is really cool, I think, because as a guitar and as a brand, I think it's really interesting that they've kind of got their own identity. There's so much sparkle in the tones, and I know, obviously, when Henning first described these guitars to me, he said they're great for people who play ambient stuff as well. So if you're into sort of ambient reverbs and lots of delays and lots of sparkly modulation, these things shine really well in that as well. So I should say a big thank you to Henning for introducing me to this brand as well, because they're so cool. So we're going to put on a bit of drive now. I'm going to put on the Tate Antares Overdrive. This is sort of like a, well, the best way to describe this would be like a Boss SD1 meets a Ibanez TS10. Basically, two classic overdrives smashed into one. This is one of my favorite sort of TS style drive pedals. So I'm going to go through the pickup positions again. So we'll start with the bridge humbucker. If I now split those coils, we're obviously going to get more of a overdriven classic Strat kind of vibe. So even though I did say the Vola pickups are super bright, when you do kick on the overdrive, there is still a low end there, but it's not an overbearing low end. It's enough low end to get the job done. So let's go to position 2 now, so the bridge is still split. So this is bridge single coil, middle single coil. If I now kick that back into humbucker mode, we're going to get a similar tone but with a bit more punch. Onto the middle position now, so this is just the middle single coil. thing I find the most fascinating about this guitar, and I keep saying it time and time again, is how versatile it is. There I was just playing some bluesy kind of stuff with a guitar that has a little bit of an extreme look, but it sounds like we expect a slightly more traditional instrument to sound. So I'm going to go to position 4 now, so this is the middle and the neck position. Finally, the neck single coil. So we've got all our classic rock tones in there, all our sort of blues tones, all our clean-ish, almost John Mayer-y kind of tones. Super, super versatile. I think this could be one of those guitars that you could take to any gig and it would do the job. So now I'm going to go a little bit higher gain. Again, I'm going to stack the Tate FX Antares into the high gain side of the King of Tone. I've also still got the clean boost side running at the end as well. So we've got Antares, high gain King of Tone, low gain King of Tone. Let's stack them up and go back to the bridge humbucker. So it works great for some fat high gain tones as well. Now I'm going to put that in the single coil position and we'll try the same thing. Some pretty cool tones on offer there. Now let's go to the second position with the coil split engaged. Same position now with the humbucker engaged. High gain now, middle position single coil. Position 4 now high gain, so that's the middle single coil and the neck single coil. finally the neck single coil on its own. So there you go guys, there is the Vola Oz in this amazing DSE colour. The Vola Oz ROA I should say, because ROA stands for Roasted Maple. So please go and check out Vola guitars. This thing is amazing. If you're looking for a Superstrat kind of guitar that you can pretty much turn to any application, this is definitely a brand to keep an eye on. Thank you so much to Vola for sending me this as well. I love this guitar and I'm definitely going to be getting a lot of great use out of it. It's such an inspiring guitar to play, and I think when you're looking for a guitar as a guitar player, that really is the big thing you're looking for, is you want to feel inspired. You want to pick up an instrument that makes you feel something. I personally don't own any guitars that I don't have a real interesting connection with. I think it's very, very important to be the best player you can be, to really connect with the instruments that you play. And from the moment I played one of these, I knew there was just something about it that I was going to love. So now it's here, and you're going to see this thing a lot more. You're not going to miss it because these colors are pretty eye-catching, so keep an eye out on Vola guitars. They're very, very interesting. And this thing, it's really hard to fault it, to be honest with you. It's lightweight, it plays great, it sounds great. If I had to pick something that I didn't like, and I know people like to hear the things that people don't like about guitars, if I had to pick one thing, it's as simple as this: the volume pot is just too stiff for my taste. I like to be able to quickly roll that on and off. This is a bit more sort of tight feeling. You really have to kind of get in there. But honestly, that's me literally looking for something to pick apart there, because really there's nothing wrong with this guitar. It's an incredible instrument. And if that really bothers me that much, I could always change it for a faster action pot if I wanted to. The positioning is perfect. I like where the coil split switch is. The tone control is great. I don't mind the tone control being a little stiffer. I just like the volume pot being quite quick, but that's just personal preference. This is great as well. The 5-position switch, it's got a really kind of reassuring clunk to it as well, which is super cool. So yeah, all in all, what an incredible instrument. So again, big thank you to Greg at Vola for hooking me up with this thing. I love it, and this is going to be around a lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down below in the comments, and also let me know what you think about this guitar. Obviously, like I said at the start of the video, for me and for people who have watched my channel over the last year, you'll know that I definitely lean towards more traditional looking instruments. So this is a little bit of a departure for me, but it's a good departure. I've definitely kind of found an instrument that I really love. And even though it's a little bit outside of what I would usually lean towards on a guitar, I think that's okay. I think I've got to that point now where I'm kind of accepting that maybe I'm not always going to like vintage Strats. I do like vintage Strats, don't get me wrong, but maybe there's something else out there that I can really connect with as well. And I think I found it with this. I think that this is going to be something that's definitely going to be in my hands a lot, because it's inspiring to play, and when I play it I feel something, and I think that's very, very important for anyone looking for a guitar. You've really got to feel something when you play that instrument. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this thing. I know the colors might not be for everyone. I personally chose this color just because I thought it was super eye-catching. I love the purple to blue finish. The green's pretty cool. I'm not crazy on green guitars, but the fact it's paired with the purple and blue makes it kind of worthwhile. If it was just purple to blue, Vola, listen up, if that was just purple to blue, it would be perfect. But yeah, it's amazing anyway. It looks really cool. The colors are stunning. That really kind of cool shimmery glitter top is amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this thing. It's a Strat. It's like the best Strat you'll ever play on steroids, mixed with a bunch of other guitars in something that can only be described as Vola. So there you go guys, the Vola Oz. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy. You guys subscribing to the channel really helps me to keep on growing the channel, making videos with companies like Vola and all these other cool brands that are out there. Please do that, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, get involved in the comments, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching.